And the pride of the nations is echoed through its sporting culture.
That was brutal.
In recent years, the rise of African fighters in the UFC has been clear and present.
I come from humble beginnings, all the way from Auchi, Nigeria, and here I am.
On August 17th, history will be made when two African-born fighters will compete for a UFC title for the first time. In a grudge match, years in the making. Considered one of the greatest middleweights of all time, Nigerian-born Kiwi Israel Adesanya once reigned supreme in the 185-pound division.
He flatlines the best fighters in the world. Israel Adesanya is the undisputed king of the middleweights.
In the story of life, in this game we play, when it's your time, you maximize it.
He is the elite of the elite, one of the greatest mixed martial arts fighters of all time.
Israel Adesanya is an incredible fighter, one of the best to ever do it, but his fire is dimming, if not out.
I've got a new enemy.
South Africa's Dricus du Plessis announced his intentions on arrival in the UFC.
Oh, he goes down. Perez is
I want to be the first real African champ trained, born, bred in Africa.
Setting him and Adesanya on a collision course.
Here, my African brother.
I'm African, but I ain't no brother of yours, son.
I will show you where you're from.
The stakes were raised when du Plessis broke through to become the Rainbow Nation's first UFC champion.
This is history. Thank you, South Africa. South Africa is the greatest country in the world. Let's go!
There are people lining up to get a shot at the new champ.
Israel Adesanya, get your ass back in the UFC so we can settle the score.
With du Plessis at the helm of the middleweight division, the stage is set for the fierce rivals to finally settle the score.
Beating Dricus is more important to me than getting the belt back. This fight's about history.
The fear of losing is what motivates me. I was put on this earth not to be average, and I refuse to be.
In this episode, we chronicle the journeys of two middleweight greats, whose paths were destined to meet inside the UFC octagon.
Please help us always positively influence one another so that we can make a difference in the world.
Before the war of words turns to action, this is UFC 305. Countdown.
I've got a new enemy.
August 17th marks the UFC's return to Perth, where for the first time in the promotion's history, two African fighters will battle for UFC gold.
Yeah, that's it. Cool.
When South Africa's Dricus du Plessis
Make sure that's on in front of your face.
looks to defend his title against the division's former king, Israel Adesanya. While Adesanya's career was forged in New Zealand, the former champion maintains a connection with his homeland.
Born in Lagos, Nigeria, grew up there, beautiful childhood in the heart of Lagos. Then lived in Ghana briefly before I moved to New Zealand. And living here, I had to learn how to adjust to culture shock. Parents still spoke Yoruba to me. I still ate Nigerian food. There was still Nigerian discipline in our household. Might have lived in a different country, but my culture never left me. Culture shock, but also I adapted really well, regardless what was thrown at me. I used to get picked on a lot, so I was like, you know what? I'm sick of these with me. I'm gonna get my get back. Even if there were bigger kids, I'd make sure you're leaving with something. So eventually I was just hard to deal with. And that was my decision to start fighting. And then eventually I realized I might be the greatest at this, so I just decided to chase it.
Adesanya made a name for himself